Hello, my friends. If your subscription feed is looking anything like mine, then it is probably full of a bunch of candle hauls. And don't get me wrong, I love me a good haul. In fact, those will be coming up here on my channel. I am just waiting for some orders to arrive. And so while I am waiting for them to make their way to my home, I thought it would be a good time to just take a little break, step back, evaluate what I am currently burning in my collection, and share my thoughts with you. I'm going to let you know the performance of a lot of these candles, what they smell like to my nose, because this is a month of a lot of sales going on, and I feel like because a lot of these candles are traditionally marketed as holiday or Christmas fragrances, they will likely be hitting the sale rack by the end of this month, and I think it's just a good idea to give you guys some information about them in case they have caught your eye. So for me personally, this is a video that I try to do about once a month. I know a lot of my friends give weekly updates, but like I said, my schedule is pretty busy and I don't always have time to film this video on a weekly basis. And truth be told, I tend to look at my candle collection and put things into like a month, not like a monthly basket, but I figure, okay, this is what I want to really focus on burning this month. And so I feel like for me, this video makes sense to do on a monthly basis. So I don't want to waste any more time because lengthy intros really are my thing sometimes. I will have all of the fragrances that I talk about listed in the description box down below. Full disclosure, none of these were sent to me in PR, but I am a Kringle candle and a Homeworx ambassador. I do have discount codes with them. Katie15 saves you 15% on your full priced orders over at Kringle Candle, and Katie's Joyful Life, I always get my codes mixed up, will save you 15% on orders over $40 over at Homeworx. So let's not waste any more time. Let's talk about these candles that I am burning this month. I'm going to go ahead and start out with a fragrance that this particular packaging is from 2022. Now, this was when Kringle brought this back as like a special edition packaging. I am very happy to say that they have brought this fragrance back in their country candle lineup this year. And the fragrance that I am talking about is Peppermint Cocoa. Now, this candle is in a large jar, 2-wick. You can see that I am almost done burning this one. In fact, I probably have maybe one more burn of this candle. I've talked about this fragrance before. I really, really enjoy this candle. It smells very authentic to, like, if you were to walk into Starbucks and order this particular beverage, this is exactly what it smells like to me. You get peppermint in here, but you get that nice cocoa note in here as well. It's not too like dark chocolate or cloying chocolate. This is a lovely, lovely fragrance. I have been loving burning this one. Now, I have had to burn this predominantly in the mornings because my husband does not really care for the scent of peppermint. And so I burn it when he's gone off to work. And that is how I have been enjoying it. Spoiler alert, I did go ahead and purchase this in a 2-wick medium-sized jar because Kringle was having that, that particular sale is over. At the time that I am filming this, they are still running a, the nice list. I want to say that's what it's called. I don't know if that sale will be over, but I believe the 2-wick, I don't know if this one is part of that. I should not speak about that, I guess. Okay, anyways, there are a bunch of medium-sized jars that are on a really good discount right now, and I can't remember if Peppermint Cocoa is included in that sale. Anyways, long story short, you will see me hauling another one of these in a future video, but I do like this fragrance enough that clearly I did repurchase it. The strength and throw on this one is a solid 7 for me. I would say that this is one of my stronger performers in terms of like a 100% soy candle. Oh, I just absolutely love it. You will see that it is getting a little dark around the rim. I do encounter that sometimes on these Kringle large jars in particular. I don't really get them as much with the medium-sized jars, but I do get them with the large jars, and that comes more so when I'm getting towards the bottom. I think it's just catching any excess soot. And to be honest with you, when I am getting towards the bottom of a candle, I do tend to let them burn a little bit longer than, say, that 3 to 4 hour burn window, just because sometimes I'm like, oh, let's go ahead and finish up this candle. Another Kringle candle that I am burning in the 2-wick large jar is a candle that I honestly bought because I loved the label, and the fragrance notes appealed to me, but I just loved the label on this one. This is Winter Woods. Now, I have actually been burning this one in November and also now in December, so you will see that I have gotten through quite a bit of it. This is a fragrance that I have actually been burning alongside the Peppermint Cocoa one, because this is like a fresh outdoorsy fragrance, but I don't necessarily smell like a tree note in here. This just reminds me of being outside in like a heavily wooded, snowy day, or let me rephrase that. I live in Arizona, so I'm not outside in snow-covered woods very often, but if I were to be, this is what I envision it smelling like. There's a coolness to the air, slight mintiness in here, which is why I think that it complements these peppermint fragrances really nicely. I really like this fragrance. I don't know if this is one that I would just be clamoring to get backups of, but I have enjoyed it. If I see it on a good enough discount after Christmas, I will probably pick up one more maybe. But this is a nice fragrance to burn, again, like I said, with your peppermint fragrances, but you can also carry this one into January and February if you like to burn traditionally more wintry type of fragrances. The strength and throw on this one is slightly less than that Peppermint Cocoa. I would give this one about a 5.5, 6, which is totally fine with me. I find that its strongest performance is in my master bedroom, which is like more of a closed concept. Like I've always said, you can throw these in a hurricane and get increased strength and throw, but in terms of the burn quality, the burn is still flawless on it. Again, a little bit dark around the rim as we are getting towards the bottom portion of this candle, but I've really enjoyed it. And the last fragrance that I have kind of been burning in this trifecta, so I will burn these 3 fragrances typically in the morning, again, because husband is not here to smell them. This is Homeworx Peppermint Snowdrop. Now, this particular packaging is from 2022, I believe. I'll look at the pour date here. Yes, this was poured in March of 2022. So this was in a QVC like duo. I think it was for July 2022. Their Christmas in July special. And so I burned through one last year and then I kept another one for this year. So the fragrance notes on Peppermint Snowdrop are frosty peppermint, candied mint, sugar crystals, and vanilla bean. I will say that if you are somebody who likes Bath & Body Works Twisted Peppermint, I feel like this is the Homeworx version of it. However, I will say that that candied mint note is a little bit more predominant in here than like Twisted Peppermint. This has kind of, I don't want to call it a creamy base to it, but it has the almost like a buttermint fragrance to it. I really like this one. And I did see that the Peppermint Snowdrop fragrance is now available on the Homeworx website or Slatkin & Co. But this one has been really nice. In fact, what I will typically do is pair this one in. I will put this in my kitchen, put the Peppermint Cocoa in my living room, and then put the Winter Woods in my bedroom. And the whole thing just blends into this like wintry, sweet, like I'm going to Candyland, but it's not too cloyingly sweet. I just really love the fragrances of it. In terms of strength and throw, again, this was a 2022. So I would give this one, it's been sitting for about a year. This one is a good solid 7.5, 8 for me because it's been sitting for a year, but I can't attest to how the 2023 pour is of Peppermint Snowdrop. All right, now the rest of these fragrances are going to be ones that if you caught my favorite Christmas videos candle, you will be not surprised at all to see these fragrances in my lineup because I've talked about all of these before, but I'm burning them now, and so I can give you some performance feedback. Let's go ahead and start with Nest Holiday. This, again, is a staple in my household. Now, I did finish one of these or actually 2 of them that I had carrying over from last year, so I didn't really have a whole lot to burn. I did go ahead and repurchase 2 of these during, it was Black Friday. Derm Store was having 25% off of Nest, plus they had like an additional 22% cash back on Rakuten. So I got a really good deal. So that's where I'm going to say, if you like brands that are more luxury like Nest, look at other retailers outside of like Sephora or Nest. Derm Store is one that carries them, and they do run some pretty good sales frequently in combination with exceeding cash back at Rakuten, and that's how I sometimes justify these purchases. Regardless, you guys, this little candle is still insanely expensive, and so it is one that I kind of just treat myself to this time of year. But I love this fragrance. Nest Holiday is, there's some pomegranate, there's some orange, there's a little bit of tree note in here. It's very classy and sophisticated. This one for me has been throwing, I would say, about a 7. It's not overwhelming. I always get compliments when I am burning this one. In fact, last night we had a gathering at our house and I got quite a few compliments on it. It doesn't overwhelm the room, but it just lends a nice ambiance and atmosphere to it. I will say that it's burning quite cleanly for me. I don't ever really have to trim the wicks on these, which is nice. But I will say that I usually stick to this single wick. Is this an 8 ounce? How many ounces is this? Yes, 8.1 ounce. I typically stick to this format just because my friend Melanie has said that the 3 wicks tend to tunnel a little bit more. So that might be something for you to be aware of. Let's go ahead and talk about a Yankee candle. Now this one I pulled out from my stash from last year. This is pretty much the only paraffin wax candle that I will ever burn, and it is because I can only get it in this format. But this is Yankee Candles Home for the Holidays. Now, like I said, this one is my leftover from last year. This fragrance is a classic. It's been around, I think, for at least 30 years at Yankee. This is Christmas tree. This is cinnamon, clove. It's cedar wood. It just, I was joking with my sister the other day, who, by the way, this is so funny, you guys, for me. I tell her this all the time. I'm like, you would think for the amount of candles that I smell, the amount of candles that I purchase, that I would find some other fragrances that I'm like, oh yeah, that'll replace it. I don't need to purchase the Yankee one. Nope. I still end up purchasing this year after year. And if you've been with me for a while, it's because this candle is very nostalgic to me. My mother always burned this one. And so every time I smell it, I just think of childhood Christmas for me. Now, this paraffin wax is actually doing quite well for me. I am burning this one in a hurricane because I do want a little bit more of a balanced burn to it. And I do find that a hurricane, especially because these are a single wick, it does prevent the candle from tunneling too much. But it's doing pretty well for me. The strength and throw on this is about a 6.5, 7. Again, that sweet spot for me. If you are new to my channel, that is typically where I like my candle fragrances to be, because I have a lot of people that I know and love, whether they are friends or family, that are a little bit more sensitive to fragrance. And so I don't want to have them in my home and have them be getting headaches. But this one, so that strength and throw of about a 6 or 7. It's a nice background scent, but I don't want anything that's going to smack me in the face or smack my friends in the face. That tends to be a sweet spot for me. You may like more, you might be right where I'm at, or maybe even like less. We all have our own preferences. But yes, Home for the Holidays. This is a fragrance that I recommend every year. And I've actually been pretty pleased with how this is performing. Does it convert me to wanting to burn paraffin wax all the time? No, it does not. I still prefer the clean burn of a soy wax, but I make an exception for that year after year. A Kringle candle that I have been burning, and this I believe is sold out. This is part of their reserve line. This is Christmas Lights. Now, here's the thing I'm going to tell you. If you are unable to purchase this candle, I know I talked about this in my Christmas candle video. I will tell you, this candle to me is very, very similar to their traditional candle just called Christmas. Almost so that I think that they're siblings of each other. I detect differences on cold sniff, and a little bit while they're burning, but right off, the first sniff on both of them, when I first smelled this, I was like, oh, that smells like Christmas. Meaning like their candle Christmas, not like the holiday Christmas. It smells like their candle Christmas to me. There is slightly something, maybe slightly, and I mean just very slightly fruitier in this than their traditional Christmas fragrance. In fact, I have their traditional Christmas fragrance right here. If I put them side by side, yeah, this one has a little bit more sweetness. I would say that this is kind of like an elevated take of Christmas. But if you already have their candle Christmas in your collection and you missed out on this one, I wouldn't say that like you need to feel like total FOMO about it. If it comes back, would I say pick it up? Absolutely. Is this one that I would repurchase again? Absolutely. I really do like the fragrance of it. The burn on it is very clean. You know, that solid white wax. And I do like that these jars are not completely opaque. I like that there's a little bit of transparency with it, so that way I can see the flame in it. Strength and throw on this one is very good for me. This one is a good solid 7.5 for me. I really enjoy pairing it with the Kringle Christmas scent, but I've also been burning it alongside, sometimes I'll burn it with some of these other fragrances that I have, and it's a beautiful tree scent. Not too like pine needle-y fragrance. It's not like a balsam or a spruce. It's very nice. Again, I don't know all of my tree scents, but it's very woodsy, not cologne woodsy, but I really enjoy it. If you have Christmas in their fragrance, they're similar to my nose. So speaking of Christmas, I am burning these little ornaments. Now these are 14-ounce ornaments that I picked up in a 3-pack last year, so 2022. They had 3 of these for $30, which I thought was a pretty good deal because these are 14 ounces each, which that's almost the size of their 3-wick jars. Now, I love this fragrance. Again, it's one of those ones that I'm like, oh, this is quintessential Christmas. It's warm, it's inviting, it's not cool air. I don't get anything like that. This, I smell it and I think of Christmas. It's just appropriately named. Now, I will say that these little jars, which are not currently available, so I don't think it's really like pertinent to say like, oh, strength and throw on this. I will say that I'm not sure that I would repurchase these little jars again for me to burn in my house, just simply because I think they were intended more to be able to like split up and give as gifts. These I think would do better, like this particular size I feel like does better in like a bedroom. I do get increased performance by putting them in hurricanes in my house, but in terms of like the open concept, this only throws about like a 5 for me. It doesn't throw very far, it doesn't project, but the fragrance itself is still around a good 6.5 for me. So oh, I just love this fragrance. It's just so warm and inviting. Definitely tree heavy. You got some of that tree bark in here, like the stump of a tree. Oh, it is absolutely lovely. Another candle that you will see, spoiler alert, I told myself I wasn't going to participate in the Bath & Body Works Candle Day, and somehow I have a shipment of 14 candles on their way to me. I did not go in store for that sale because my nearest Bath & Body Works is 40 minutes away. But a candle that you will see in that haul is one that I purchase every year on Candle Day because it is a staple for me. I just finished up my version from last year in this fragrance, so I went ahead and ordered another one. This is Winter White Woods. I absolutely love this fragrance. The fragrance notes on here are glistening icicles, dried cedarwood bark, and spiced sandalwood. I do believe that this is a fragrance that is always an online exclusive. For whatever reason, I don't think that they carry it in stores. I mean, your store might, but it always lists as online exclusive. This to me smells just like a Christmas tree lot. So I grew up in Southern California. We didn't go to the woods and chop down our trees. We just went to the Christmas tree lot. And this is exactly what it smells like to me. It smells like a freshly cut tree. The stem, that was the word I was looking for, or the stump of the tree. You get a little bit of the needles on here. I'm trying to remember what Christmas trees that we typically purchased when I was growing up. I believe, I'm not positive, but I believe most of the trees that we would normally get were Douglas firs. And this is what this candle smells like to me, which is interesting. There is like a cedarwood bark note in here. That's why I talk about like, this smells more like the wood on the tree than the actual, you get a little bit of the like pine needle smell to it, but it's definitely more of like a woodsy smell on there, almost like the sap, but not too sweet like the sap. I don't know how to describe it. Oh my goodness, it is my absolute favorite. Now I will tell you that the one that I finished burning is already in my empties bin, and I will give you an update on that. But this candle does perform quite well for me. Every year that I've purchased it from Bath & Body Works, the strength and throw on that one is like a 9. It will carry, in fact, if I burn it in my bedroom, it'll carry out here into the living room. So that one's always a perennial good performer for me. Going back to Kringle / Country Candle, I have also been burning Wishing for Christmas. Now this is in the Country Candle lineup. This is where they released it this year, but they do also have it in the Mercury jar. So I have it in this 2-wick 100% soy mercury jar, and then I have it in the 2-wick 100% soy large country jar. So what are the differences here? Well, the biggest difference I will tell you between these two candles is the wicks. So I don't know if you can see that on here. I'm gonna look and see. Yeah, you probably can. Okay, so do you see the mushroom tops on those wicks? I only burn this candle for about no more than 3.5, 4 hours. And I do notice that they tend to really get the mushroom balls going on these wicks. They do also want to lean a little bit. They get a little bit heavy. So for me, what I do, I don't have any issues with trimming those off, and then they still burn flawlessly for me. You will see that the burn is still quite even on it. Strength and throw, still pretty good on this one. I would say that without a hurricane, I would say this one is around a 6, but if I bump up the hurricane with a hurricane on it, it increases to about a 7. And here's the thing I'm going to tell you. This fragrance, for whatever reason I experience with these country jars, it's almost a shame that the wicks do this, because I find that the peak throw and strength of it comes around that 2.5-hour mark on these candles. So I was burning this one. I went shopping with some friends. I came home and I was like, whoa, my whole house smelled like this. Now I was burning 2 of them. So I was burning this one in the kitchen and the other one here on the opposite side of the house, and it filled my whole home. So again, 1,800 square foot, single story home. It's not a giant house. But I really do like this fragrance. It smells like Christmas tree, pine needles, and sugar cookies. In fact, the fragrance notes listed here are cookies, vanilla, sugarcane, and pine. I do believe that somebody made the correlation that I think this is Yankee's take, or not Yankee, Kringle's take on Yankee's Christmas Wish, I believe. So if you are familiar with that fragrance, and I think that that's probably accurate, because I was telling my sister the other day, I said, you know, this fragrance, when I burned it, it smelled very familiar. I do think that my mom at one point picked up a candle that smelled like this, because there is something about it that I have a scent memory with, even though this is the first year that I've purchased this Wishing for Christmas. I absolutely love this fragrance. It is one that is backup worthy to me. In fact, this is one that I will be purchasing backups of if they go on sale after Christmas. Keep an eye out on Kringle, because I have been seeing these mercury glass jars go on sale for 25 to 30% off. Intermittently, I've seen that happening over the last month. So keep your eyes peeled on this one. I will tell you that if you were to ask me between the two formats, which one do I prefer? I would say, just for consistency's sake, I still find that the 2-wick soy tumblers perform just like they have the edge over it. However, I will tell you that if I am able to pick up the country jars like at a really good discount, then I wouldn't be averse to picking that up again. All right, and then I think, oh, I have 2 more to talk about. Okay, another candle that you guys know, this was my favorite holiday release from Homeworx last year. This is Fireside Christmas Tree. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. I've only burned this one twice so far, because this candle, Home for the Holidays, and I would say Wishing for Christmas, those are the fragrances that I almost want to kind of nurse along, and I'm really saving my like dedicated burns for those for about the week leading into Christmas Day, because they just scream Christmas to me. So Fireside Christmas Tree, the fragrance notes on this are Fraser fir, fresh pine needle, charred firewood, and dark balsam. Now, this particular candle was poured in June 9th of 2023. This fragrance I have always talked about. This is Christmas tree. This is sitting by the fire. There is that charred note to this. It's not smoky. I think that there's a difference between a smoky fragrance and like there's a char to this that is just, I absolutely love it. My husband loves this candle. Every time I burn this, he's like, oh my goodness, it smells so good in here. Now, this candle has been thankfully performing quite well for me. I'm not having any wick issues. I will say that the first burn did take a little bit longer than I like for Homeworx candles to pull out. I did give that one, I think it took about 2 hours, 2.5 hours for it to completely pull out on the first burn. When I notice that a Homeworx candle is taking a long time to pull out on its first burn, I will typically let that candle burn burn for about 4 to 5 hours, just so that way I make sure that it completely pools out. And then successive burns, I notice that it pools out a little bit quicker. So that's just my own little personal tip on the Homeworx candles. But this one has been performing quite well for me. Strength and throw of about an 8. And again, I think it just has to do with the fragrance oils that are used in this one. But it is a perennial favorite, but I've burned it a couple of times, but I'm like, nope, I'm saving that one for Christmas week. All right, and then the last candle that I have been burning this month is Kringle Candles Holiday. You guys saw that I purchased more of these recently. I actually have 3 of these candles in the Mercury lineup. The fragrance notes on this are balsam, bay leaf wreath, sparkling lemon, clove bud, eucalyptus, allspice, vanilla, golden amber, and winter moss. Oh my goodness, you guys. This fragrance, it's so funny because I think people read those fragrance notes and a lot of people are really turned off by the bay leaf note. Don't let it turn you off, you guys. This fragrance is perfect for winter time. I love burning this fragrance because it gives cozy vibes to your home without competing with, say like for example, I can't really burn Wishing for Christmas on the same day that like say I'm cooking chili or a roast in the crock pot or something like that, because it's like it's too sweet and tree-like. It kind of fights with, it doesn't complement the fragrances that are coming from my kitchen. Whereas this is a candle that I feel like it just doesn't compete with anything. It enhances whatever you might be cooking. This is a great fragrance to burn during a meal. Oh my goodness, I absolutely love this fragrance. My husband really, really likes this one as well. This is a backup worthy candle in my viewpoint. I don't really hear a lot of people talking about this one as much, but it is probably, to be honest with you, it's probably one of my favorite ones from the Mercury line. I had to think of what are these jars called from the Mercury line. This candle also performs quite well for me. This one is also a good strength and throw of about an 8 for me. Throws all throughout my living room here. I can smell it here, there, everywhere. I mean, it's really, really nice, but it's also not headache inducing. This one also pairs really nicely with the other Mercury jar called Fireplace. Also, on that note, Kringle Candle did just release some new Reserve line candles, and there is, I want to say it's called Smoke and Mirrors. I have not received confirmation on this, but if you like the Fireplace scent in the Mercury lineup, and I haven't checked to see if those have sold out, but if you can't get your hands on that, I do believe that the fragrance notes on Fireplace and Smoke and Mirrors are the same. When I saw them, I was like, those are the same fragrance notes. So if maybe you're looking for the Reserve lineup or you just want to have backups of that, look on the Kringle website yourself, because I do think that they are the same fragrance, and that is another fragrance that you guys have seen me, you saw me haul in my last Kringle haul. So speaking of hauls, there will be some coming up throughout the month of December here. I did, like I said, participate in the Bath & Body Works Candle Day. I am actually waiting to film. My next video is probably going to be my Homeworx and Yankee candle haul. I'm just waiting on one more candle to be delivered from Homeworx. I know that sounds ridiculous, but yeah, I'll explain that more in that video. I also later on this month am planning to kick off my series or wrap up 2023, however you want to look at it, with my I'm thinking top 10 favorite fragrances from my go-to candle brands, meaning Kringle, Bath & Body Works, Homeworx. I'm going to share with you what my favorite fragrances of the year were. So if you want to stick around for that content, make sure that you are subscribed to my channel. Again, yeah, like this video if you found it helpful, if you enjoyed it. Let me know in the comment box down below 3 fragrances that are just your go-to in the month of December, or what are you currently enjoying burning? I always love when our community talks about fragrances that they enjoy, because this is a really cool little community, a little corner of the internet, and who doesn't like sharing something joyful like home fragrance? It's frivolous, but it brings me a lot of happiness. All right, I'm going to go ahead and stop rambling. I want to say thank you so very much for watching this video and spending some time with me here today. And I want to say that until my next one, I hope you all go out and have a very blessed day. Bye.